Hi, thanks for joining 2020. Okay. Yeah, so I had to make this video tonight because I wanted to talk about the Corey Long uh, arrest, and I guess he's turning himself in tomorrow. I believe, they issued something last week, and so people are going to the courthouse tomorrow to support Corey, and Corey was a flamethrower guy. Everybody's seen the pictures of and so forth. I have some pictures of him as well, and evidently the incident that happened was on, as far as that's being in the media, was on the other end. Is where the shot went off and he had his flamethrower thing. Anyway, what's really upsetting me about it is the way it's been covered, and especially this Roots interview that has been passed around everywhere. Also, this new photo of him, which is the reason why that upsets me is him and both DeAndre Harris have presented themselves as these innocent. Well, not so much him presenting himself as too innocent, but anyway, you'll see. But them presenting themselves in a way where they're trying to look like something they're not, or whatever. I don't know. You'll see the photos. So you can find out photos of him anyway. So I'm going to read the Roots article about that. So this is my second video that I'm posting, but I've done several more, and it covers the whole Unite the Right rally, from just the whole walkthrough. That was my experience, and so I'll be posting those after this. But okay, I'm just going to read this Roots article and tell you what my experience was. First, I'm just going to show you this picture and point out a few things so you can understand what you're looking at and what they're talking about. Okay. Oh. Okay. Hopefully you can see this okay. Okay, yeah, so that's focusing. Okay, so. Oops. Okay, so you see the flamethrower. Okay. So you see the Unite the Right guys up here. They're on top of the steps, and that's where the demonstration was, up above those bushes there that you see. Okay, and so where Corey is down in the street where I say protesters were. I'm pretty sure the Unite the Right people were demonstrating their rights or whatever. I don't know, whatever. And people were protesting that down in the streets. So anyway, the proper whatever. So there he is, Long. We all seen that picture. What I want to show you is something that he's been talking about. Is this guy down the street as well? This older guy. Hopefully you can see it. If you can't, then look it up. And then I guess this is somebody else. I don't know if he knows this other guy or not, but there's some other guy over here. Okay. Oh, that's even worse. So anyway, we all know the picture. You can look at it, see what I'm talking about. The old guy's on the ground, just kind of standing there, checking everybody out. Okay, so he's not injured. He's standing up as straight as he probably can. Y'all can just kind of look at your own right now if you want to. And so anyway, so the rest of our article, let's keep on going down here. Okay, actually, this is what Lipstick Alley says before she talks about, or whoever talks about, or covers the Roots thing. Corey Long, the black man captured in the most iconic photo. has been arrested, assault and battery and disorderly conduct. The police says it's related to the makeshift flamethrower, and the assault battery charge is related to the separate skirmish during the rally, which is at the parking garage, which I witnessed. I also have pictures of Corey at the entrance I was at. He's the second black counter-protester to be arrested in relation. Charlottesville police arrested 23 of Culpeper, Virginia on Friday. So he's a resident of Culpeper, but I don't know if he's lived there forever or not. DeAndre Harris, who has had his head beaten in by white supremacists, was arrested a day before for unlawful wounding, as earlier reported, which is unlawful wounding was at the very beginning of the fight, which is how the fight started. By the way, you can look at my video, I'll post that. Especially if you do it frame by frame, you can just see exactly what happened, and it'll give you alternate angles from what you'll see on other videos. So Long said he acted in self. This is the Roots. Long said he acted in self-defense and was protecting an old man sitting next to him, who scores of white supremacists were attacking. Okay, so just look at that picture again. I already showed it. That wasn't what was going on. So he says he was protecting an old man sitting next to him who scores of white supremacists were attacking. Okay, so again, white supremacists, or the Unite the Right guys, I don't know who exactly were up there, were keeping the protesters from coming up into that area. The police should have probably been blocking that off. But either way, well, the reason they weren't is because people were going into the entrance, entering the rally. That was the entrance to the rally. So anyway, I just want to read that again. But you guys can read this. It's a Roots interview. So that's a crock of crock. So at least it was a peaceful protest, Long said softly as he spoke, until someone pointed a gun at my head. It was a peaceful protest until someone pointed a gun at my head. Then the same person pointed at my foot and shot the ground. Long said the only weapon he had was a can of spray paint that a white supremacist threw at him earlier. So it was peaceful, but a white supremacist threw a can at him earlier. The photographer snapped the photo. The police, he said, did nothing. So the police weren't even there. Again, they were up top trying to keep the majority of people separate. They were willingly fighting at these entrances. It wasn't, it was really, yeah. So the protesters blocked the entrances to the rally bodily and also with a board, and that's where the fights were at. People trying to get in, them not letting them in, fights started, and then the Unite the Right guys blocked the entrances and were letting only Unite the Right people come up there. Okay. Richard Wilson Preston, 52, was arrested in August and charged with discharging a firearm. Long was released on an unsecured bond Friday and referred all questions to his attorney, Malik Zulu Shabazz, national president of Black Lawyers for Justice and former national chairman of the new Black Panther Party. The Times reports that in August, two of Harris's alleged attackers, Alex Ramos, you can see his video on my channel, and Daniel Borden, I'm not sure I know much about him, were arrested after they were identified by activists through video and social media earlier in the week. A third man, Jacob Goodwin, 22, was arrested in Harris's attack. So for those keeping score, two black counter-protesters, clearly in the eyes of most sane people, were acting in self-defense, which they weren't. have been arrested in Virginia, and 4 white supremacists have been as well. So here are my photos as far as that goes. That's gotta be addressed right now, right? Telling me how to do this. Anyway, gang, if you look at my video, what happened is I have like, I don't know, like 4 minutes or something. I'm not sure what it is. Of them walking down the street, and I saw what was going on and knew something was going to happen, so I started videoing it with my camera or with my phone, because I really didn't know how to do the video with my camera very well. And so you can see there's a crowd going down. The Unite the Right guys were in the front. DeAndre and Corey and these other guys were behind them, and behind another group behind them. All going down the street. They got to the parking garage. The guys in front of DeAndre turned around. It looked to me like they were cornered because they kind of came to this pillar area, and the fight started. And then another thing you're seeing here, I have pictures of, is him saying that they were chased into the stairwell, which is not what happened. There was a group of Unite the Right guys that came in there after the more violent ones came in there, and they said, "Stop, that's enough." DeAndre got up and went into the stairwell. And then also I have plenty of pictures of, that same group of Unite the Right guys like formed a line along the wall outside the stairwell and just stood there, and they were keeping, again, I think any other violence or whatever in the garage. And I guess, well, DeAndre and I guess this guy Corey says he was in the stairwell with them. And then they came out with Antifa members and I think Black Lives Matter member. You can see it in my photos as well. So forth, and went across the street and did the hands up, don't shoot thing. Don't want anybody to come over there. So anyway, okay. Guess Virginia police are taking the Trumpian stance of blaming both sides, which I think everybody knows now that there was violence on both sides. I can say what I saw, the protesters in the street started the physical violence with the Unite the Right people. And that's what I have, that's what I have pictures of, that's what I have videos of, that's what I saw. The images that flash before our eyes on television and social media from this weekend. Racist. So he goes on, the cops are protecting the Nazis instead of the people who live in the city. The cops basically just stood there in their line, which they did, and looked at the chaos, which they did. They kept everybody separate except at the entranceways where the fighting was going on. The cops were not protecting the people of Charlottesville, they were protecting outsiders. They were doing both. They were trying to keep people separate. Again, they couldn't cover the entrances, I guess. Some may wonder why the cops don't do more to protect a normally quiet town, but Long wants to know why the Ku Klux Klan were allowed to march when the same city wouldn't let rapper Waka Flocka hold a concert. They shouldn't have allowed it. They wouldn't have even allowed Waka Flocka to come down. They wouldn't even allow Waka Flocka to come down. You wouldn't let a rap artist come down, but you allowed a Nazi. So typically, the musicians are in the pavilion. The pavilion is privately owned, but the area around it, I guess, might be municipality. But so as far as him saying Charlottesville and not letting this guy to come, I don't know the details around that. It seems a little bit off because a rapper wouldn't, like, I don't think be in Lee Park or downtown mall, so I don't know. Make a comment on that. Long been wanting to paint Charlottesville as a picturesque town where everyone walks around in rose-colored glasses, and racism never existed before this weekend. Usually it seems like everybody in Charlottesville is pretty cool as far as that goes. And racism never existed before. After seeing the life of his friend DeAndre Harris, who's only been in Charlottesville for 2 years, flash before his eyes while people stood around and just took photo ops. He's left even more confused than before. I have a lot of photos and videos of it. It was very uncomfortable to do that. It was traumatic, and you know, I felt a responsibility as far as once I got involved with it. You know, I was not going to go into the parking garage and get in the middle of this fight. And some photographers did, but you know, anyway, some people were, yeah, so that's just me. I stayed fairly much away. I was taking those photos with a 105mm lens on a crop sensor camera, which made it about 160mm. So I was like across the street, almost. Long was in the parking lot deck with DeAndre Harris as he was getting assaulted by white supremacists. Oh man, I gotta get these photos up for you guys. Okay, I will do a slideshow, but what happens is this crowd, DeAndre Harris is behind him yelling, "Want some of this nigga?" And he says that 3 times. And the guy gets to this column at the parking garage, and to me it looked like he was cornered. Turned around and stuck his flag down, and then they attacked him. So when you see snippets of stuff, you have to see that whole thing. It lasts for a while before that even happens. Okay, they're going down the street for a couple blocks. But he says, and I don't know about this. He says, Long was in the parking lot deck. Okay. The white supremacists told us, "Die nigger in the garage," Long said, and when one had the chance, he picked up a stick and tried to use it to his advantage. So all these guys with DeAndre Harris and Corey and everything, they all had sticks. They were going down the street with sticks in their hands, taunting these Unite the Right guys. Look at the pictures, look at the videos. This is the Roots reporting this. And they're leaving this up here. So anyway. And then everybody shared what the Roots interview was. Even when Long was finally able to help Harris and get him to safety, which I think that is shown in videos, the white supremacists were unrelenting. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's not the case, and in my photos there's not enough time between one photo to another. They got